Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for more Formula 2 action. It is Season 5, Division 1, Round 7 of the Championship as we take in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from the Baku City Circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream here as always on your Monday night. Happy bank holiday everyone to everyone living in either the Netherlands or in, of course, the United Kingdom. And joining me in the comment box, of course, it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Michael, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and yeah, it's bank holiday, May Day, and I think a lot of these drivers are going to be thinking May Day as we go around Baku tonight.
Yeah, I wish, to be honest, it was going to be the 4th of May that this race was going to be run on, because May the 4th be with you and all of that. Yeah, that. But we really haven't started well, have we? Let's have a look then at the standings coming into tonight. Toxic, of course, leading the championship on 213 points. Ruta in second on 176. Verstappen in third on 163. Of course, Toxic fresh off that sprint race win. Ruta fresh off his second place in the feature race. Rocco in 4th on 153, with Campbell not making it tonight due to internet issues in 5th on 146. Miami is in 6th on 139. Nathan in 7th on 119. Brent in 8th on 97. Zerdemer in 9th on 95. And Larkin ran off the top 10 on 87 points. Nolan in 11th on 71. RGDW in 12th on 69. His best point score of the season. One of his best point scores of the season last week. Pharrell Fury and Sophia Antaf 13th on 40. M Short not making it tonight in 15th, with Josh in 16th on 26. M Short on 32. Nathan, hopefully we don't get a repeat of last week. CRL Nathan in 17th on 22. Chill in 18th on 16. Benny in 19th on 10. Both of them are not making it. Killer Blue in 20th on 9. And Yono in 21st on 4 points. And Mike, Toxic, of course, leading the championship into tonight. A race dominated by Nathan's last week. But Toxic really driving away from the field, even though Wuta did outscore him.
Yeah, obviously, Toxic has been absolutely fantastic this season. If you look at his results, I mean, he got the victory in the feature race in Brazil, second in Silverstone. He got first in the feature race in China, followed by a second place in the sprint race at China. Another win in the feature race at Zandvoort, a win in the sprint race, both Abu Dhabi and Russia, and of course a win in the, a second place in the feature race in Abu Dhabi. So he's been in fine form, and the championship just shows that.
Yeah, and I believe, actually, looking at the constructors, I'm not sure if this is confirmed. I think Toxic might actually not be making it tonight, because it says in the constructors that they've scored no points over the 2 rounds, which the feature race and the sprint race, tonight already. But they lead anyways on 359 points. MP Motorsport in second on 226. Argon Free in third on 224. Hightech fourth on 214. Univirtuosi in fifth on 202. Prima in sixth on 179. Trident seventh on 101. Damned in eighth on 80. Carlin a point behind in ninth on 79. And Campos in 10th on nil points. And obviously we'll have a look down the lobby and see if Toxic's actually here. Toxic, you're having me on. Toxic is here, and the constructor standings definitely need to be updated, because at least one of the BWT HWA race labs is here.
Yeah, and I was also about to say that it also says 0 points for tonight's races for the high-tech Prima and Carlin cars as well.
Yeah, well, high-tech have got Zerdemer, obviously, Verstappen in the Prima, and then in the Carlin, we've got RJDW. So, not sure if we might be having a bit of a Google Drive glitch there on the website, or if somebody needs the sack. But we have a better get going here in qualifying. Whoever I've now just thrown under the bus, I'm very, very sorry. We are getting going here, of course, in Baku City Circuit. A 6 kilometre circuit, around 15 laps of the feature race, 11 laps for the sprint race. And one of my best commentaries around here, if I've got to be honest, it was me and Aidan Carter in the comments box just over a year ago, believe it or not. Couldn't even get my words out. Between now, obviously, and back then in 2020, where of course we were in lockdown. We are partly still in lockdown here, of course, in England. But one of the best commentaries, because it was CRG Blizzard and a man who was here tonight Toxic, who delivered one of the best final lap battles in the feature race I think I've ever seen. And it literally came down to 1/100th of a second at the end of the race.
Oof.
Yep.
That is mad.
Absolutely mad. And if hopefully we get something to go by here tonight, because we have got quite a few guys, not saying they're CRG Blizzard pace, but saying that they are quite consistent towards Toxic, and hopefully it is going to be quite interesting to see how this is all going to unfold out on track. 26 drivers taking part over the 2 divisions tonight, by the way. 13 here in Division 1, 13 in Division 2, which has just finished. Of course, thank you to Matthias and Killer Blue for taking us through the action there. Killer Blue not making it due to his internet, I believe, but we are going to get ready then for this for one-shot qualifying, and we're going to go with XL Zerdimer in the high-tech on the run down in towards turn 1. We'll get all the data up on the right-hand side, as Zerdimer will now run across the line to start up on the lap. Now comes through turn 1, already over Kuksek coming through turn 1, loses all sorts of positions, right down in the last position. Relentless guys first, second and third, now come through turn 2, and then in towards turn number 3, where of course the old meets the new here in Baku. Router out on top for Verstappen second, Toxic third. At this moment in time, of course, those graphics can be quite deceiving. Zerdimer down in towards turn number 3. Nice braking there through turn 3. A little bit wild on the power, but now coming through turn 4. And then toward the end of the first sector, coming through turn 5. This city circuit really tests the driver's limit. 39.6 through the first sector from Zerdimer. He's in 5th, just coming through. There's the flame towers in the just in the foreground of shot. The dominance of the skyline here in Baku. And now Zerdimer runs through turn 7 and then through turn 8 and then in towards the infamous castle section. Count up as we go along through turn 9, 10, 11, 12, and then up the hill in towards turn number 13. And now this is the highest point of the track, where Grosjean, of course, crashed under the safety car just a few years ago. As Zerdimer now comes through turn 14, getting the flame towers just off to the right hand side. Now coming down the hill, and this is the highest point on the track. We now dip downhill, hops over the curve, nicely done there by Zerdimer. Now runs through the end of the middle sector to 124, 125 flat through the middle sector from Zerdimer. Toxic out on top, Rocco second, RJW in third. At least we're not getting a Nathan front row like last week, as Zerdimer now coming through in towards the final couple of corners, speeding of course flat out, coming through 18, 19, then through 20. That's pretty much a lap then of Baku over and done with. This 1 kilometre straight now leading up towards the line. Zerdimer on a good lap, he's going to go I think 9th here. Toxic absolutely dominates though in qualifying. Root had a disqualified lap, but Toxic out on top by a good 5/10 of a second over his nearest rival Rocco.
Yeah, and we were seeing over that lap, Verstappen was up there early on, but he also managed to exceed the track limits, and Ruta then being the closest rival also invalidate him, but Toxic out on top.
And how about that as well? 6 out of the top 7, all Brits. Sorry, Sofian in 5th. Toxic on top from Rocco in 2nd. RJDW in 3rd. Good qualifying from him. His best of the season. Larkin in 4th with Sofian in 5th. Nolan in 6th. Nathan in 7th. CRL Nathan, that is. We can just call him Nathan tonight. Zerdimer in 8th. Pharrell Fury in 9th. Ruta 10th. Verstappen 11th. Josh in 12th. And Brent in 13th. The bottom 4. Ruta, Verstappen, Josh and Brent. All getting disqualified on their laps, all invalidating at various points around the circuit. But Toxic out on top, 4.5 of a second over Rocco. RGW in 3rd. Jav will be very happy, I think, with Rocco's performance there. But Toxic out on top, and as I said to you before commentary, Mike, Toxic is built for this track, and I cannot see him getting beat whatsoever.
Only a time will tell, but he's done the first part, he's got himself on pole position. Let's see if he can drive away with this feature race.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, of course. Beautiful blue skies here in Baku, as we are about to take in 15 laps for the feature race. It's 11 laps for the sprint race around here, 26 laps in total. What we're going to be seeing for all the guys out on track. But we are about to get going. Larkin and Brent, the first two ready up. And Toxic will be hoping to try and extend his championship lead. Ruta obviously getting a disqualification in the session, as well as Verstappen actually. So his 2 nearest rivals, Mike, Ruta and Verstappen, both getting disqualified laps. They're going to have to try and make a lot of ground early on in this race, especially around a high degradation circuit like it is in Baku.
Yeah, and not only that, it's starting towards the back end here is so... It's absolutely desperate. I can't say the word, it's a big word. I'm only a Welshman. English is not my first language. But it's absolutely crucial that they stay out of the trouble early on, because it can be a nightmare trying to carve through the field if drivers ahead of you maybe go a little bit too deep into turn 2 and just have that spin directly in front of you.
Yeah, of course we have seen side-by-side before around here in Baku, and plenty of times where drivers have to try and use the escape road, and then some of them actually crash in the escape road and then deploy a safety car. We're hoping that's not going to happen, of course, here tonight, but you never know what can happen around here in Baku. Could be one of the craziest races you've seen, or could be like Zandvoort, my commentary of Saturday. Absolutely boring as bleep. Toxic. Out on top, Rocco in second. JDW in third. There's the Flame Timers just off into the middle. Of course, Baku hosting the Eurovision Song Contest in 2012. And, of course, they're going to be hosting one of the matches in the Euro 2020 finals that are going to be taking place this summer in the Baku Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, which is just actually off City Hall and just down beside the seafront here in Baku. But Toxic out on top, Rocco second, RGW in third. Looking at the strategies, Verstappen and Josh have gone for a set of mediums. Brent's obviously on a set of super softs. Rooter on a set of super softs as well. Now, that's interesting because Rooter didn't set a lap time. Does that mean he starts without setting a lap time on his set of super soft compounded tyres? No, I've just clicked on in my head. These guys start on fresh tyres, don't they?
I'm pretty sure that they do. I don't think they would chuck Rooter on the super sauce with invalid lap time. But I mean, even if he did have a choice of tyres, I'm pretty sure he probably would have gone for the super softs anyway, so he can try and make his way through the field as quickly as possible.
Oh, I've just seen one of League of Europe's recent tweets, at League of Europe, of course, on Twitter, if you do want to give us a follow, at California, XL Cali, in the Formula 2 race. Literally, like I said, with Toxic and Blizzard, just look at that photo, what's up on Twitter. Absolutely unbelievable. Millimetres between victory and defeat, and that's what we could be seeing here tonight. However, I feel Toxic is going to dominate his way in this feature race. We're about to get going though. Mike, who's your top three?
I kind of have to go Toxic, Rocco, and I'm going to go Verstappen for the final spot on the podium.
Zerdum saying we might get two people joining for the sprint race. There's the rundown and towards turn one from Toxic camera angle, and the 5 red lights now are about to go out here in Baku for round 7 of the championship. It's the feature race and it's lights out and away we go, and Toxic gets a really good start. Rocco as well with a good start. Sofian carving his way through the field. Larkins lost a couple of positions off the start, but Toxic leads through turn 1 and everyone clean through and behind as well. Brent right on the back of Josh, just in the background of shot, but Toxic leading the way. Zerdum and Rooter going side by side, and that was Sofian looking at Nolan, a little bit of a pinch point coming through turn 2, everyone clean through. Wooter, Zerdimer, Sofian, Larkin going 3 wide down the straight. Nathan is going 3 wide as well, with Zerdimer and Rooter running down, and this is going to be very, very tricky. We'll right on board with Nathan, and Wooter's all the way around the outside of Zerdimer, gets the move done. He's up into 7, takes 2 positions for the price of 1. Terrell Fury's on the inside line, the relentless man, and the Irishman trying to go on the inside line in the dams, doesn't get the move done. Need a bit of KFC to try and get that one done, but Nathan in 9th position, Terrell Fury in 10th, Brent in 11th. Verstappen and Josh struggling their way early on a set of medium compounded tyres, but they're going to be fresher towards the stop, towards the back end of this race. Toxicville leading, Rocco second, RGW in third. Not many position changes up and down the field, but Toxic dominating early on, but he hasn't really got away from Rocco.
Nah, Rocco's doing a fantastic job to keep with him, and I gotta say, Nolan with a fantastic start, jumping ahead of both Larkin and Sophia, and early on gets himself up in the 4th. Wooter from 10th up to the 7th right now, and he's on the back of Sophia, almost right into the back of the rear wing.
I think Sofian actually might have been looking at the top of the hill, coming through 14 on Larkin. He backed off, and that's why Rooter has now got a sensational run down the hill to try and get Sofian running through 17, 18, 19, and then through turns 20. Toxic leading the way, though. Rocco second, RGW in third. Too much speed there from Rutan. I'm not sure if Zerderman might have picked up a little bit of damage there. He has. Left side end plate damage on the car for the Dutchman, and he's got damage clouting the wall coming out through the final corners. A side by side, though, between Nathan and Zerderman, between Brent and Pharrell Fury. We see a graphic switch to the left hand side. Brent trying to go around the outside, though, on Pharrell Fury, down and towards turn one. The Irishman comes in too deep, runs him out wide. Brent is still there on the outside line, and Brent and Nathan doing a good job. The Dutchman against the actually, it was Pharrell Fury, yeah, the Irishman just in front of him, and that's for 11th position that was, and Pharrell Fury is through and he's into 10th position on Brent. Not sure if there's any moves happening further up the field. Zerma trying to get onto the back of Nathan, Verstappen on the back of Brent, yeah, down the inside he goes. A little bit of a pinch point, and of course, Gulsing System likes to fail on this game, and it nearly did that, but Verstappen stays 12th for now. Toxic leading still from Rocco. Toxic doing a good job. Rocco in second, RGW in third, Nolan in fourth. 3 positions gained for Ruta, and again, he's right on the back of Sofian, but there's really no chance to try and overtake here. Running down in towards the castle section as Ruta gives Sofian a little tap up the backside.
Yeah, Ruta right now just Sofian, he's there. Sofian there. I think he managed to get away with that.
I thought he had damage. Right side end plate, right side end plate actually on the car. Don't think he has. We'll see if the understeer is coming through here. No, perfect through there. Don't think he's got any damage. Ruta though, right on the back of him, and Ruta actually in the championship fight. Toxic is leading. Ruta is in 7th, and Ruta is losing big time on the back of Sofian. Sofian, I don't think has got damage on that car. If so, it might be very light damage, but Ruta all of the back of him, and surely he's going to look for a move down and towards turn 1, especially with the DRS going to be enabled next lap around. I think we're still on lap 2, aren't we?
Yeah, as soon as we cross the line now, we should have DRS and run down into turn 3. Ruta now moves towards the inside of Sofian and run down into turn 1.
Good stuff. I think he's late on the brakes. Gets the move done. Wooter's through and he's into 6th position. Lovely move there. Brent as well on Verstappen. And 3 wide down and towards turn 1. Just coming on board with that. Verstappen is the one that's actually lost out on that. He's side by side with Pharrell Fury. The Dutchman down the inside of the Irishman. Irishman held up into the wall. A little bit of contact with the wall. Yeah, right side end plate damage I think on the car as well. It has came off that right side end plate damage. So Verstappen forces Pharrell Fury into the wall. Probably didn't mean it, to be honest, from Verstappen's point of view. But Pharrell Fury really wanted to fight this. Round the outside he goes on Josh. Into the wall he goes. Though Josh is third, he's into 12th position. And Pharrell Fury really going for a late lunging move. I don't think he was going to get that car stopped whatsoever. And Pharrell Fury now down in 13th. More damage on the car.
Yeah, and I was on board with Pharrell Fury in the previous lap. He did already have front right end plate damage, so he just added to the problem there by going on around the outside of Verstappen turn 2 and then again with Josh in turn 3.
Brent nearly going into the wall as well, coming through the castle section. Ruta's now on the back of Larkin for 5th, and Ruta has got really good pace about him. He is coming his way through the field. You can see the position gains there. Ruta's gained 4, Brent has gained 3. 1 position, is that a loss or a gain for Zernemer actually? I think it might be a loss for Zernemer from 9th. Nolan's gained 2 positions out on track, but in terms of the strategies, Toxic leading the way, 1.6 seconds dominating. Rocco second, RGW in third, but RGW doesn't look like he's got the pace on the back of Rocco. Man that does have the pace though is Ruta, right on the back of Larkin. Relentless against Excel. Where have we seen this one before, I wonder, as now Ruta now closes in down the straight. DRS enabled. This is an easy move down and towards turn 1, and he'll cut across just to get Larkin, and he has, and Larkin is through and he's into the lead of the race. He's into 6th position. Sorry, not the lead of the race. Goodness, 5th position. Oh, I'm messing up everything tonight. Ruta in 5th position. Larkin in 6th. Zerdemer came into the pit lane there to replace his damage, and he's now in the pits. Pharrell Fury also in. As Larkin's going to have him back up Ruta, it seems.
Yep, Ruta moving to the inside, cutting off the slipstream there. Larkin just gonna stick behind Relentless Ruta for the time being, as now we can try and get on and chase down Nolan, who's not too far off the back of RJDW for his final spot on the podium.
Yeah, 1.4 seconds. Nolan is catching out on track, and RGW 6 tenths of a second. Looks like, though, he is catching on the back of Rocco. Toxic, I'm not sure if he's actually made a slight mistake. He has lost a little bit of time in this lap around. No visible damage on the car, but he has lost 4 tenths of a second this lap around, so Toxic might be just taking it easily out on track. Rocco in second, RGW in third, and yeah, Nolan 1.5 seconds. That gap is staggering around that area at this stage. Bruce is there fifth, Larkin in sixth. Nathan, though, right on the back of Sophia, and the Frenchman against the brakes as Rocco's in the wall.
Yep, Rocco in the wall on the exit of turn 15. Just
damage.
The traction spears off to the left into the wall.
Oh, this is not going to be pretty as well. He's going to slow up right on the back of Bruce. Let him through, and now Larkin's going to be held up as well. He's got left side end plate damage on the car, and look at Sofian. Look at Sofian's run on Larkin. He's going to get him. Absolutely flies past him, and look at Nathan as well. Rocco has just opened up a whole bag of worms. Sofian comes into the pit lane. So does Larkin. Nathan stays out. Toxic, the race leader, is in as well, and I think he's got right side end plate damage actually. Has Toxic. I'm not sure if that was right side end plate damage on the car. Obviously not. He's out of the pit lane, but Toxic now into a set of medium compounded tyres. These super softs are really not lasting that long, especially with damage. Toxic then is going to be out of the pit lane in very, very clear air. Zerdimer is going to be well behind, and Toxic is now in clear air. He's in 7th position and is now going to absolutely dominate his way through this race. Rocco, I think, got held up by drivers leaving the pit lane there. So Rocco all the way down now in 12th. Pharrell Fury well behind though.
Yeah, and Brent getting the jump on both Sofian and Rocco there. Interesting to see that.
And Jordan saying, let's go Division 1 in the comment section. Our only comment of tonight, of course, if you do want to get in touch, you can, even if it's about Line of Duty and the absolute botched ending last night. RGW has spun out the race lead. RJDW has spun out of the race lead. He just dropped the back end at the top of the hill, coming through turn 13. He's got left side plate damage on the car, and that's an absolute disaster. And unfortunately for him, he is streaming, and now I'm going to go and watch it from his point of view to see what happened there. And by the time, yeah, he's into the wall, just lost the back end, and he's got 56% rear right tyre wear on that car already. So RJW all the way down in 5th position now, and his chance of getting the podium now well and truly gone.
Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking there for RJDW. He's currently in 5th. He's definitely coming into the pits this lap. I think he would have been at the end of this lap anyway, but he's going to be held just a little bit longer. As Nolan picks up a 5-second speeding penalty there.
Yeah, speeding penalty for Nolan into the pit lane. 5 seconds picked up. And of course he's in Marcus Armstrong's car. I'm not sure if they'll actually serve up this penalty in the pit stop. He's got front wing damage as well as Nolan. So he replaces his front wing. And Nolan now is going to be in that pit lane 13 seconds rather than just 5 seconds. They're the only going now to change the tyres. Medium compounded tyres on the car. And he is serving up his 5-second penalty. Oh no, I thought he was serving up his 5-second penalty. But Nolan now well and truly behind Zerder. He's nearly side by side with Brent coming out the pit lane. And Nolan is ahead of Brent, luckily. But with that 5-second penalty, it's going to cost him a lot of time. So Fian now right on the back of Rocco. 10th and 11th position. RGW is fresh out of the pit lane as well. In behind. But lap 6 out of 15. No fair share of drama early on. And Verstappen leads the way. Josh in second. Those two still in the pit. They're going to be going to around lap 9, you would imagine, to go into a set of super softs. And Toxic currently leading the way by, it's only 9.3 seconds.
Yeah, and just looking at the mistake from Rocco was really caused a reshuffle here as the pit stop phases to come to an end. Ruda now into a net 2nd place, Larkin up to a net P3, Nathan to a net P4.
Jordan in the comment section, by the way. No spoiler, we've got Line of Duty, and Nolan's into the wall. Nolan, fresh out the pit lane, is into the wall. Left side end plate damage on the car, and he's in 8th position. He was in 8th position. He's now down in 9th, and more yet misery for the relentless man. And real misery, I've got to say, for the relentless team as a whole, apart from Ruta, who hasn't had any damage.
Yeah, this track has... I gotta go for the pun, haven't I? I've gotta go for the pun. This track has been relentless on these front wings.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And because Jordan hasn't watched the Line of Duty finale, I'm not going to use any Line of Duty puns, because they might have spoilt the ending. Staffing out on top though, Josh in second, Toxic in third, Nathan right on the back of Larkin though, running down in towards turn 1. He's certainly getting on with things here on Nathan. Had a really good debut last time out, of course, in Russia. And, of course, he had that infamous commentary last week in the sprint race where he was, of course, starting on the same front row as his fellow compadre, Nathan, the other Nathan, Relentless Nathan. And now Nathan, CRL Nathan, we're saying Nathan plenty of times. Nathan is on the back of Larkin for 5th.
Joe, I have a conspiracy theory.
What's that conspiracy theory?
I think because Relentless Nathan is not here tonight, he has passed the bottles onto his Relentless teammates.
Yeah, I think so.
Nolan in the wall, Rocco in the wall, Arrow Fury in the wall.
And the only man that hasn't been in the wall for Relentless is Ruta. And he's currently net second. But is he going to be net second? Because Verstappen is, what, 21, 22 seconds up the road? It's going to be quite close, I think, between Ruta and Verstappen. I'm not sure if Verstappen will obviously have super soft compounded tyres towards the end of the race, but it looks like he's pulling away from Ruta. It's 21.1 seconds. Actually, the gap is coming down, and Ruta 4th is closing in, but Verstappen, he's in a really good spot, I think, as now Nathan run on the back of Larkin, 5th and 6th position, out on track. And Jordan saying there's only one thing he's here for, and that is broken wings. And now we've got Nathan right on the back of Larkin, running down the straight. Larkin really under pressure on the MP Motorsport. The Cheroux will pull to the inside line, and CRL Nathan just absolutely breezes past. If he's not even there, Nathan is through, and he's into 5th.
Yeah, absolutely easy done into turn 1 there from Nathan, but will Larkin be able to come back now into turn 3? He's got a good run out of turn 2, and DRS wide open. He's going to stick into the slipstream of Nathan. He is going to close up towards the braking zone, moves to the inside. Is he going to be able to get this move done side by side? And
Ooh.
the Spectre is still side by side going into turn 4, and is he going to be able to keep it?
No way.
Oh, this is brilliant stuff.
He's got the traction down the inside line. Can he try and get the move done? I think Larkin has got the move done. He is through on Nathan. Nathan is still fighting with him, but shooting the tractions on the outside it is. And Larkin is through. And he's into 5th position. A really good fight there between them both. Toxic picks up a 3-second penalty, as well as Nolan's 5-second penalty as well. But Larkin now through, and he's into 5th position. Really, really good first sector battle there between them both. And to be honest, it's not even done with, because Nathan is all over the back of Larkin. Larkin in 5th position, Nathan in 6th. These two not careful, Zerdimer and Brent could be on the back of them before the end of the race.
Oh, speaking of Zerdimer and Brent, we got a nice little battle brewing up right here between these two, as well as Nolan. Doesn't feel that front wing damage is causing him too much issue at this moment.
And Jordan's comment, by the way, is in relation to Line of Duty. It is from one of Mr. Hastings' comments. Jesus, Mary and Joseph and the wee donkey, what a move. There we are. Important Line of Duty. Nathan right on the back of Larkin once again, and it looks like it's going to be same story next lap around. Nathan is absolutely flying through, and look at that, his DRS, I'm not sure if he was feathering the brakes down towards turn 1, but his DRS actually was shutting halfway down the straight. Was that a sign to Larkin saying, I'm still here, mate? Nathan is through then, and he's into 5th position, gets a much better run compared to Larkin this time, but Larkin now right on the coattails once again. Is he going to look to the outside line this time, or is he going to go driving it down the inside? Down the inside line he will go, Larkin. XL against CRL, Larkin really not leaving them any room at all. Brent as well in behind on Zerdimer has got the move done, and Larkin now surely not going to find a way around the outside twice. They're leaning on each other slightly, and it's still a really good battle between them both. Nolan right on the back of Zerdimer as well. Larkin now down the inside line. It's literally a carbon copy of last lap around, and it is, and Larkin is through once again, and he's into 5th position. These two really know how to fight. Great one-on-one racecraft, and Larkin is through, and he's into 5th position once again. But for how long are we going to be commentating on this?
I am not sure, as Toxic's managed to get through on Josh. I think Josh might have made a mistake somewhere, dropping back quite heftily. Yep, that front left is completely gone.
Yeah, I think he's probably clouded the wall, I would imagine, coming out through the first couple of corners on that lap. Nathan again, right on the back of Larkin. MP Motorsport against CRL once again, and Nathan just a little bit later on the brakes. Larkin not feeling confident coming on the exit of that corner, and it just gives the run. Yeah, Verstappen is through, and Zerdimer and Nolan side by side as well. And look at Rocco. Rocco's right on the back of these. It's a XL relentless sandwich at this stage. Toxic leading the way now. Verstappen and Josh are both in. Verstappen is going to be out behind Ruta, and he could be out behind Larkin and Nathan, and Nathan's not going to be close enough this time around. It's going to be 3 wide running down in towards turn 1. Rocco tries to thread the eye of the needle down the middle of the track. Zerdimer's on the outside line. Rocco dives it down in the inside line. Can he get that car stopped? He can. He's on the inside line still. Look at Nolan now. 3 wide into one corner. Really does not go. And Nolan has absolutely careered it into the wall. Look at Sofian as well. Sofian is right on the back, and he's going to get 2 free moves. Zerdimer's got left side end plate damage. Nolan's got right side end plate damage. Both cars fighting. And Sofian now maybe moving up into 8th position as Zerdimer absolutely bombs it around the outside line. How's he got that car stopped? I do not know. The Frenchman is through, and Rocco and Nolan trying to look down the inside line. Sofian though is through, and he's into 8th position. And to be honest, all of this battling and all of that front wing damage ahead, RGDW's not entirely out of this as Nolan once again goes for Zerdimer.
Yeah, I think this is getting a little bit personal between Zerdimer and Nolan right now.
Verstappen, by the way, out in front of Larkin. Crucial for Verstappen. 5 seconds the gap to Ruta. Will he gain that? I would imagine so before the end of the race. But Verstappen now in a real prime spot to try and take second in this race. I think it's too much to try and gain on Toxic. But then again, I've been wrong. RGW on the back of Nolan now. 10th position. Out on track, and RGW, Nolan's gone careering off into the wall. Front wing damage entirely off. RGW's got to be very careful here. Nolan nearly dives it into the wall once again. RGW's just got to be careful, I think, to be honest. Coming out in towards turn 18 will probably be the best chance to try and get through. He'll switch the inside line. There should be job done, and RGW surely on the inside line is going to have the run. Nolan couldn't across though. On his line, RGW really not giving up with the fight, and that is good racing. RGW is through eventually on Nolan, and he's through, and he's into 10th position. Not really sure what Nolan was doing though, trying to move across an RGW's line, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he was just trying everything to keep a hold of position, but with no front wing, you better off just pit in Nolan. There's no need to fight at that point.
And he nearly crashed actually into the pit wall coming into the pits. So Nolan is in. Josh and Pharrell Fury will go past. Nolan's going to be in last. Nolan is going to be last out on track, which is such a shame because he has driven a really good race in the first half. But Nolan now into the pit lane, 5-second penalty getting served up as well. Then he's got to take a choice of tyres, which is another 5 seconds, and then he's got to replace his front wing, which is another 8 seconds out on track. So he's in the pit lane here for a good 18-second pit stop.
Yeah, but the one good thing for Nolan is that he will be able to try and get at least fastest lap, which I think that's what he's going to go for.
I thought they put the wrong tyre on the rear right. Scroll that back, guys, in the chat. Sofian has lost. Oh, he's spun actually coming through turn 7. I wonder if he's being tagged by Zerdimer behind him. Zerdimer's now 8th, RGW 9th, Sofian, and 10. Might have got caught on the inside wall. But Nolan, I swear, that rear right tyre was on a set of hards. And we haven't even got the set of hards available. Really strange. Nathan, though, right on the back of Larkin once again for 4th.
I think you've even found another glitch in this game, which, to be honest, that wouldn't surprise me. But It's either that or you should have gone to Specsavers.
Should have gone to Specsavers. Other opticians brands are available. Nolan has picked up a 3-second time, but then here comes Nathan. Down the inside he goes. He's going to get the car stopped down in towards turn 1, surely. Nathan is through, and we commence round 3 of this battle between the two. Larkin and Nathan side by side. RGW is through on Zerdaba, running down the straight, and he is through, and he's into 8th position. So good move there from Nathan, but now Larkin as close as he's ever been. This is going to be a replica. I don't think it's going to be side by side actually in towards turn 3 as Larkin will look to the inside line. Nathan is going to be behind this time, going on the outside line. Is he later on the brakes to try and hang the car in? He is later on the brakes. He is still there, Nathan, on the inside line. What have I said? Nathan down the inside line, Larkin on the outside line. These two still a little bit aggressive in their fighting, but it's really, really good. Larkin now through, though, and he's into 4th position, and Nathan couldn't fight side by side with him this time. Larkin through and outsmarting him, and he's into 4th position as Nathan gets a really good run down the inside line. What am I saying? Honestly, Nathan down the inside line into 7. Do not go side by side into the castle section. I beg to God. Nathan backs off. Thank God. Larkin in 4th, Nathan in 5th. That could have been like me and Tom back in the day.
Well, the one thing is that this battle may just get a little bit more intensified because you see in the background there the looming threat, Brent and Rocco closing in.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds behind. Brent obviously out on track, the Dutchman. Rocco in 7th as well, 2 seconds the gap. Verstappen, though, gaining tenfold on the back of Reuter. And actually, Toxic has lost a little bit of time to Reuter over the last couple of laps or so. And did he have right side end plate damage? No. I don't think he has. Nathan Larkin commences possibly round 4 of this battle now, as Larkin is in 4th, Nathan in 5th. Nathan's actually closer this time around compared to what he was last lap around. And is he going to try and lunge it once again? Look at the closing speed, in excess of 200 mile an hour compared to Larkin in 195 down in towards turn 1. He doesn't go for it this time, but Nathan really, really coy to the threat of Larkin just ahead. Brent 2.6 seconds behind. I don't think that actually Brent is going to get onto the back of Nathan in time before the end of the race, as now Nathan is going to have a run. It's a bit of role reversal from earlier on in the race. Larkin and Nathan once again. Now he's going to take the role of Larkin. Down the inside line he goes. Larkin on the outside line, and Nathan, I think, is going to get this move done. Pushes Larkin nearly into the wall, but that is good defensive, good attacking driving, I should say, from Nathan. And he is through, and he's into 4th position once again. And this battle has been absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And now we got another battle to look forward to. The battle for P2 as now Verstappen within a second of Reuter.
Yeah, Verstappen just looks like he's overreaching through the gears, maybe. And it's just wearing out the tyres. He is really aggressive on this tyre compound. These set of super softs do last around 6 laps out on track. So Verstappen will be fine in terms of the tyre wear. But he's just over-revving the car, and that is crucial as Josh has spun coming through turn 7. So Josh has spun coming through turn 7, I should say turn 6 actually. Josh has spun coming through there, and now he is right down at the back of the field. I don't think he's even got the car going, and he's been disqualified for being parked at a dangerous location. And it looks actually like his car is considerably lagging as he's been now disqualified from the session. Reuter now under pressure from Verstappen. Larkin right on the back of Nathan. Which battle to go on board with? I'm going to take Nathan and Larkin, I think, to be honest with this. I don't think Verstappen is going to be close enough down and towards turn 1. We'll see. Yeah, Reuter stays in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Here comes Larkin, though, on the back of Nathan. Nathan not enough this time to try and duke himself out on the slipstream. Larkin once again is through, and he's into 4th position. This is the new drinking game, I think, tonight. How many times can Larkin and Nathan go into 4th position?
Verstappen right to the inside of going into
Job
turn
done.
3.
Yep, job done. Down the inside line. Gets the move done, he's into 3rd. Here comes Nathan once again on the back of Larkin. Goodness me, this battle is literally like non-stop between Larkin and Nathan. It's great to watch, and it is actually giving me vibes, possibly, of Toxic and Blizzard back in TTML F2, where they were battling considerably for the second half of the race. It was the feature race as well, and Nathan now on the back of Larkin I wonder, and I'm going to say it now before we ruin it before the end of the race, I wonder if there's going to be a photo finish between these two.
I mean, there could very well be also with Ruda and Verstappen. So if Ruda could stay just there with that DRS of Verstappen, surely it's going to be close between these two as they cross the line.
Yeah, Verstappen, you would imagine, will be dragging Ruta, trying to get to the back of Toxic. Toxic has won this out on track. Verstappen second, Ruta in third. And Jordan agrees with me. Photo finish incoming between Larkin and Nathan. Nathan, I think, has just got to wait. He seems like the quicker driver out of these two. Nathan has just got to wait at this stage and try and pinpoint his way to try and get that move done. There are two opportunities around this track. That's down into turn 3 and coming across the line to try and get that P4 out on track. It could be, though, that Nathan goes for the move now, and Larkin is going to be the one to try and come back at him down the straight. Final lap has started. Toxic leading the way, Verstappen second, Ruta in third. Here comes Nathan once again on the back of Larkin for fourth and gets the move done. And look at Rocco in behind as well. Rocco's coming from an absolute mile back on Brent. Looks to the inside line, doesn't get the car stopped though. And Brent stays in P6, but now Larkin right on the back of Nathan down in towards turn 3. And Nathan, I think, just gets a better run this time, and I think he's going to try and juke the slipstream. I don't think Larkin is going to go for the move. He hasn't got his DRS enabled, and he is going to wait for his move. Somebody that will not wait, that was Rocco, right on the back of Brent, trying to go down the inside line, in towards turn number 3. Good stuff as Nolan has retired out on track and won't deploy a safety car out on track. Verstappen has pulled away from Ruta, that's the end of that battle. But Rocco and Brent, Larkin and Nathan, 2 photo finishes possible as Larkin neatly goes into the back of Nathan.
Yeah, I think he did go into the back. I didn't see any front wing fly off though, so Larkin has managed to get away with that one, but yeah, it looks like we could be in store for a double photo finish here.
This is going to be intense, this final half a lap. Toxic is coming down the hill for the final time to try and take the win, but I think all eyes drawn to this battle between Nathan and Larkin. We'll right on board with Toxic for now. Coming out through the final couple of corners, I think Larkin and Nathan will get going halfway down the straight when Toxic comes across the line, but Toxic now round through turn 19, turn 20, through the final corner, passing Pharrell Fury on the other side of the track. Toxic is going to win. He's weaving down the straight. Do not weave, my son. You haven't got the win yet. Toxic now towards the line. He's going to win here in Azerbaijan. The feature race goes to him. Verstappen will finish in second. Larkin, is he too far back from Nathan? Gets a sensational run coming out through turn 18 and 19. And I think Nathan has just got this, you know. Larkin is not going to get Nathan, I don't think, run to the line. You can see Nathan now foaming up the slipstream. Could be a photo finish. Larkin with the closing speed. Nathan's going to get him. Nathan holds on for fourth. 600ths of a second separating. And if that start-finish time was 50 yards longer, Larkin would have got him down in towards turn 1. And Larkin would have been fourth. 600ths of a second between them both. Not quite a photo finish, but 2 cars going in towards turn 2 together. Think we can say pretty much it was going to be a photo finish if, and only if, the start-finish line was about 10 yards longer across the track, as Zernham actually has finished in behind Sofian as well by a 10th. Pharrell Fury now coming across the line to finish in 11th, and Toxic has won. Verstappen in second, Ruta in third. Of course, Toxic with that 3-second penalty brings the gap down to 6 seconds. Pharrell Fury down 11th. Disappointing from the Relentless Boys out on track. Driver of the day is voted by the in-game fans. It's Verstappen. I'm not going to try and make a joke out of that pose at all.
You know, Verstappen's a man that does like his zen. Like, you know, he's... Namaste.
Namaste. Karma, maybe, for the next race. Of course, the sprint race still to come. Here in Baku, top step of the podium once again. Toxic, I did say he would dominate. Could he dominate as well in the sprint race? Remains to be seen. But Toxic takes yet another win, continuing on from his good sprint race form last week in Russia. Jordan saying, what a race, and we still have the sprint race to go. Yes, we do indeed. As we get to the end of the feature race, and it is Toxic who takes the win. Verstappen, though, fastest lap of the race, gains him an extra point. So Verstappen in second, Ruta in third, Nathan in fourth, 6500ths of a second ahead of Larkin in fifth. Rocco in sixth with Brent in seventh, RJDW in eighth, Sofian in ninth, and Zerdimer only a 10th off, ran off the top 10. He had a 3-second penalty. Pharrell Fury in 11th, Nolan disappointed in 12th, DNFing out of the race. Josh as well DNFing out of the race. One medium runner didn't get round. One medium runner did and finished second. Verstappen, really good performance from him, but the gap extends for the championship lead as Toxic leads. Verstappen has now taken second, I think, off Wouter, if I'm not mistaken, or it's very close between them both.
I'll have a quick look. So the gap was...
No, Wouter's still second.
Wouter's still second.
I got myself very excited there, to be honest, thinking Verstappen was a lot closer and then realised it was 13 points separated between Wouter and Verstappen. Oh, the clouds have now drawn over here on race weekend in Baku. Sprint race, of course, still to come. 13 drivers are going to do battle once again. We were due another 2. Those 2 have not turned up. The sprint race now going to be getting going. And if it's anything like the feature race, we could be in for quite some race.
Yeah, and this is going to be very interesting now because obviously in the feature race we saw Wouter and Verstappen, who were well down the order after invalidating their qualifying laps. Now they're going to be right there with Toxic, so maybe this time around Toxic will have a bit of competition.
I think he will. Verstappen and Toxic obviously starting on the same row of the grid as well. We haven't got a carbon copy scenario of last week, which I'm very glad to report. It's RGW on reverse grid pole after that spin. Brent in second and Rocco in third. Very intrigued to see how this man is going to do from the front row of the grid. RGW, of course, third in qualifying in the feature race. Was looking really good for a possible podium before he span at the top of the hill coming in towards turn 13. He has got the pace tonight, and I think if he has the pace off the start and gets Brent to about 7/10 of a second at the end of lap 1, I think RGW might just steal away with this right from the front.
Well, I mean, RGW, yeah, he was showing some fantastic pace in the first stint, as was the man down in 12th, Relentless Nolan. Sophia was showing some good pace as well. The problem with this track is you have to keep the mistakes down to a minimum, and we have seen all these drivers make their mistakes. Rocco could be one to keep an eye on as well, starting in third.
Yeah, of course, starting in third. Of course, everyone starting on a set of medium compounded tyres as well. And why won't you, to be honest? I think Sir Ibbo was literally the only man in TTML... in League of Europe F2 history that I think has started on a different compounded tyre compared to everyone else out on track. Supersoft will not last 11 laps around here, so do not even try it. RGW out on top, Brent in second, Rocco in third. And yes, I might have thought we were commentating for TTML tonight there. RGW, though, is going to be the man on pole position. Brent in behind him. It's going to be fascinating to see. My voice is going as RGW will try and hold the race lead. And I'm just looking at his stream as well. He's got a live stream up at the minute. We're warming up his tyres. His tyres are only around 70%, 75 degrees. Out on track, normally they're around like 100, and they're only at 75%. And this comes to show, I think, the coldness of the track temperature.
Yeah, as we see Larkin there just fly off into the distance to take his grid position. He'll be looking to do that off the line and try and get ahead of all these guys, but time will tell. 11 laps away as RJDW on the reverse grid pole. Can Toxic make it a perfect, well, almost a perfect weekend? Unfortunately, Verstappen picking up the fastest lap in the feature race means it's not a perfect weekend for him, but is it going to be back-to-back wins?
It could be indeed. We'll have to wait and see as the lighting changes on the grid. 500 lights on about to go out for the sprint race here in Azerbaijan. The land of fire is go, and RGW gets a very good start. Brent as well, quicker off the start, and Brent's going to have the run down and towards turn 1, and he's got him. RJW now down into second, Brent on the inside line. Look at Rocco as well. Rocco now on the inside line, trying to get both of them. He has got one, and he tries to look down in towards turn 2. Brent holds on to the race lead. Larkin gets a good start. RJW was absolutely shocking off the start, as now Nathan is going to go 3 wide, possibly. Nathan just took it into the slipstream of RJW in behind. Sofian and Verstappen looking quite close. Josh and Zernemer, Toxic, and Verstappen still in the same positions as where they start. And actually Verstappen just looking on the back of Toxic there. Nathan running side by side with Larkin. I wonder where we've seen this before. Nathan and Larkin going side by side, and Nathan pulls it off, and he's still in fourth position. Larkin there, still though, side by side with him as he tries to go around the outside. Nathan on RGDW, the top two pulling away. It's Brent out in front, Rocco in second. RGW having a shocking start. Now Larkin right on the back of Nathan. Wooter and Toxic are side by side heading towards 7. Wooter gets the car stopped. The German on the inside line. German's got to back off. He's on the outside line, and Toxic retakes the position, and Toxic through, and he's into 6th position as Nolan and Sofian go side by side up the castle section. Sofian and Nolan. Sofian down the inside line. I think Nolan's got the traction all the way around the outside. This is bold. This is brave. It could be absolutely sensational from Nolan to the outside line. It's still side by side between them both. Sofian's on the inside line. Nolan's got to get this car stopped. It's brilliant from Nolan. What a move that is. He clouts the wall. I don't care if he clouts the wall. Sofian into the wall. Josh into the wall as well. Carnage. But Nolan hitting the wall, right side end plate damage on that car. Josh letting through Sofian as well. I think there might have been a little illegal overtake there. But Nolan, with one of the craziest moves I think I've ever seen around here in Baku, side by side through the castle section, gets the move done, and then proceeds to hit the wall as Larkin and Nathan go side by side, and Rocco's right on the back of Brent. Onto lap 2 we go, and Rocco is now in the lead of the race. Brent much later on the brake, so gets the car stopped. Rocco's got the inside line. And Brent, on the outside line, will have to try and follow suit as now Rocco pretty much runs wheel to wheel. Doesn't want to force him into the wall. And Rocco hangs on. And he just about nearly forced him into the wall. There is a retirement in the pit lane. It's Josh who's retired in the pit lane. As Larkin and Nathan are still going side by side. They're continuing on from last race. Nathan down the inside line. Oh, and into the wall. Oh, my God. And that was Wooter into the wall. Wooter into the wall. I can only describe that, to be honest, as if that was a brake failure of some sort. It had to be. Wooter into the wall, proceeding to, I think, hit Toxic and all of that as well. I think Toxic might have done well to avoid that, to be honest. But almost like a Wooter either just misjudged his braking point completely, or there was a complete brake failure on that car.
Unbelievable. I've
never seen anything like it.
That was... How is Wooter still in this race?
Oh, and Nolan's into the wall. Nolan into the wall up the castle section. And Nolan's going to let Wooter through, I think. Yeah, he parks it on the inside curb. I think he might just retire this, to be honest, out on track. Yeah, he's going to wait and let through Sofian as well. And Nolan crashing once again and retires out on track. It's a disappointing sight to see. But Rocco leads the way. Relentless actually doing a little bit better this race. Rocco's out in from Brenton second, RGW in third, Nathan in fourth, Larkin in fifth. And Larkin's under pressure now from Toxic. Toxic right on the back of Larkin. Fighting. We'll better go on to lap 3. But that incident with Wooter, I cannot describe what happened. To be honest, Pharrell Fury's got damage as well on the right side end plate damage. She's going to be coming into the pit lane. And Sofian, Nolan's AI, is actually retiring out on track as Toxic. The outside line on Larkin. Down towards turn 2. Yeah, is he going to get the move done around the outside? Oh, they lean on each other, wheel to wheel. DRS now enabled for Larkin. Toxic, I thought, would have got the DRS there, and he has. Both of them's got DRS on the back of each other. And now Larkin to the outside line. He's got the faintest amount of slipstream, but no, he's not going to go for the move. Toxic now into 5th.
Yep, Toxic of Larkin there, and he'll be thankful for that, because seeing the amount of times that Nathan and Larkin's gone side by side as soon as possible.
Oh, you're just splitting up on my end there slightly. I hope everyone can still hear you. It has been raining in Wales, absolutely typical in terms of the connection. But Rocco leads the way from Brent in second, RGW in third. Nathan now under pressure from Toxic. The championship leader is in 5th position. Wooter all the way down in 11th. Verstappen behind him as well. Again, Toxic in the right position at the right time. And Rocco is going to be gaining a massive amount of points as well on Verstappen and Wooter at this stage.
Rocco doing fantastic. We said at the start that he's one to keep an eye on, but we get a good start. RJEW just holding on to the back of Brent there. Nathan right now crucially out of DRS range and is going to be under some serious pressure. He could lose 2 spots here on the run down into turn 1.
Yeah, Toxic's going to be dragging Larkin, Larkin's going to be dragging Verstappen, and Verstappen's going to be dragging himself really into contention. Toxic runs into the back of Nathan, and that's going to give Larkin a better run compared to the guys ahead. And now Nathan and Toxic are going to go side by side, but look at Larkin's closing speed. I think he's going to go for the inside move down in towards turn 1 here. He's on the outside line instead. Larkin from an absolute mile back. Is he going to get this car stopped down the outside line? He's through on 1. Toxic just parks it on the inside, and Larkin was never going to get that one done. Toxic hangs on into 4th. Nathan right on the back of Larkin, and here we go again between these two. Verstappen just sitting and waiting for a mistake to happen. That mistake nearly came in the back of Nathan, nearly into the back of Larkin. Brent right on the back of Rocco, but Verstappen now on the outside line. Nathan! Oh, careers it down into the escape road. And that's what Ruta failed to do, go down into the escape road after his collision with the wall and with, I think, Toxic as well. He got caught up in that. Verstappen, though, 6th position now, and Nathan all the way down in 8th for taking the escape road. No damage, luckily.
I'm wondering if Ruta had the same issue as Nathan did, just running in the dirty air, the car ahead. Maybe his brake just got a little bit overheated and it just did not provide him the stopping power he needed.
Yeah, misjudgment of the brakes possibly from Ruta's end, maybe. But Rocco leading the way, Brent in 2nd, RGW in 3rd. Toxic now in a relatively clear A, can now close in on the Division 2 champ, and we're going to see a first this season. Division 2 champ possibly fighting against the Division 1 champ, of course, of last season. Both of them are going to be fighting. Toxic and RGW. Toxic in clear air. He'll begin to close up onto the back of the top 3. Rocco, of course, leading the way. Brenton 2nd, RGW in 3rd. Plenty of time to try and get the moves done. Larkin is barely within DRS on Larkin. He's just 9/10 away. But now, Verstappen is going to have a really good run at Larkin. Yeah, here he comes, the Dutchman. Right on the back, he's got hardly any slipstream. Larkin. Toxic's new fastest lap of the race, but Verstappen sends it down the inside line, gets the car stopped, and he's through and he's into 5th. Good respect though from Larkin though, for letting them through.
Yeah, giving each other the room there is what we'd like to see, and Verstappen, with Verstappen being on the back now, in DRS range of Toxic, it's just going to drag it along as just saw RGW have a little look at the inside of Brent.
Yeah, he was actually running out of the dirty air of the car ahead, which I think was to try and pinpoint his braking point and try not to run into the back, because obviously he probably saw that Ruta collision further down the field. Speaking of Ruta, he's on the back of Pharrell, 1.2 seconds separating those guys. Rocco leading the way though, Brenton 2nd, RGW in 3rd, Ruta, new fastest lap of the race, 1:52.3, 7/10 quicker than Toxic. But now we get into the pinch point of the circuit, coming through turn 7, and now Toxic is within nearly a second on the back of the front 3, and he's going to be carrying a lot more speed compared to the guys ahead. And now, literally as I say that, he's now within DRS range, as Toxic now within 8.5 of a second. Rocco leading the way, Brenton 2nd, RGW in 3rd. Toxic though dragging along Verstappen into this.
Yeah, and I think for Toxic, he wants to try and get at least one car between him and Verstappen.
Larkin's got damage. Larkin dropping off. I was wondering why he was dropping off and not keeping up. He's got left side end plate damage on that car.
Yeah, and
oh, Sofian has crashed coming through the castle section and there's a safety car. A very rare occurrence here in League of Europe Division 1 for Formula 2. A safety car is out on track. I wonder if these guys come in for a set of super softs. I think they will be. They have to be.
The question now. Is Rocco going to go in?
No. Brent.
No, he's late. Oh, he tried
RGW's in. Toxic in. Two battles in. Verstappen in. Larkin in. Zerdimer is staying out. So Zerdimer is going to stay out and he's going to be in 3rd. Nathan is slumming up within the Delta. I wonder if he's going to come into the pit lane. I don't think he is. No, Nathan. Oh, he now decides to come in. I'm not sure if that's the correct pit entry, to be honest. But Nathan into the pit lane, and he picks up a 5-second penalty just for good measure. Larkin is just ahead of Verstappen, I thought, was coming out of the pit lane. Verstappen briefly held up there. RGDW, though, is ahead of Toxic coming out the pit lane, and this is going to be quite interesting. Guys on a set of mediums, obviously going to be on much more worn tyres right at the end of this race. The guys in behind, though, out on track, on a set of super soft compound tyres. We are about to see, possibly, the masterclass from RGW.
Yeah, and obviously, I think Rocco there missed the opportunity to come into the pits there. I think he's made a drastic mistake there by staying out. He did try to throw a dummy to Brent last minute, and Brent didn't buy it, but probably more crucially for Rocco, all the people he probably needs to fear more in this race did bite the bullet and jump in.
Nolan has said, apparently you have to be 70 years old and own a walking stick to be part of an F2 pit crew. I think that's with regards to his 18-second pit stop that we caught on stream, possibly. But Rocco out on top, Brent in second, Turner in third. That's in the Discord, by the way, not in the comment section. But what a funny comment that is. RJW in 4th, Toxic, 5th, Verstappen in 6th, Larkin in 7th, Nathan 8th, Pharrell Fury in 9th, and Ruta in 10th position. But this just now throws the race completely and entirely on its head. I think we're going to get 2 more laps out of the safety car as well, which leads me to believe we'll have 3 laps of racing, which will also lead me to believe DRS final lap.
Yeah, and I'm confused why Pharrell Fury is still on medium. Surely he would... He's only going to lose 1 spot if he comes into the pits, and I think it'd be more beneficial for him to be on the set of super softs.
Maybe he's just in for the points, to be honest. Pharrell Fury's well down in the standings. Maybe he's just within it for the points and to try, because you never know what could happen here in the Formula 2 action. As I just switch on my light, as Rocco is out on top. Everyone now pretty much under the safety car. We're just waiting on Larkin, Nathan, Pharrell Fury and Ruta to get onto the back. And yeah, Pharrell Fury on a set of mediums. Obviously, he is going to be under pressure from Ruta, but I have an element of feeling that Ruta is probably going to be let through by Pharrell Fury out on track, and Pharrell Fury will be in 10th position right at the end of this race. But you also got to factor in, actually, Nathan has got a penalty ahead of him. He's got a 5-second penalty ahead of him, and Pharrell Fury just needs to stay within that DRS on Nathan, really, to get the points for 8th. As Roots is in. Roots is in.
Very strange.
And I'm going to set of mediums. Really strange pit stop from Ruta. Can't understand it.
I'm quickly having a look at the race director to see if anyone is getting close to a 3-second time penalty here. So I think that could really throw a spanner into the works. At the moment, though, I'm not saying it's completely clean on track limits. There are 3 people who have a warning still in this race. I won't spoil it for you, James.
My understanding would be Rocco, Toxic, and Larkin, I think.
I mean, you're right with 2 of them, but you're wrong with the 3rd.
Larkin will probably not have a penalty then.
No, you were right with Larkin. It's Rocco you was wrong with.
Oh, must be Zerdimer?
No, it's the man currently in 8th place with already a 5-second time.
Oh, Nathan. Ah, see.
Nathan, I would pit now. Get rid of that 5-second time penalty.
But is he going to come out ahead of Pharrell Fury though? That's the thing, because Pharrell Fury won't be sticking to Delta out on track. Or however, as soon as I say that, it just literally slows down, so he is sticking to Delta. Nathan still stays out. He is comfortable that he wants to try and go for 8th, it seems.
Or maybe seeing the 2 cars behind him on mediums gives him a little bit of hope. But this is going to be very interesting. Actually, I'm confused with the medium call. I'm wondering if they think the super sauce will just drop off on the final lap and become a terrible tyre to be on. But we saw in the feature race they went 5 laps with minimum effort.
Yeah, I think they've misjudged this entirely. Pharrell Fury, obviously, I think he's committed on that strategy. Wooter is the one that has misjudged this completely. Yeah, he's not going to be getting any overtakes done under the safety car. He might even catch the back of the safety cars. The safety car's already coming through in towards turn 7. And Wuta is just coming through, what, downtown towards turn 3? It's going to be touch and go whether it can actually get onto the back of the pack. For Alfie we will. Wuta I don't think will, though. Possibly. It's 20 seconds. It's going to be quite close. Safety car, I would imagine, would be coming in this lap, unless it decides to wait another lap out on track, which will just be a little bit of a joke that Codemasters like to play on us. But Rocco out on top, Brent in second, Zerdimer in third if you are just tuning in for the sprint race. And a little bit of an argument going on between Josh and Nolan, by the way. But regarding the Sofian and Nolan battle, I thought it was clean. Personally, I didn't see any pushing into the wall. And that was from us, the commentators. So maybe take one eye on the stream and one eye on the Discord. Safety car in.
Yeah, so safety car is in at the end of this lap.
And look where Wuta is. Wuta is not even near the back of the safety. He's only going to catch the back of the safety car queue, I think, when these get back going. And that is going to be a huge disadvantage for Wuta. Wuta's only coming out through the final corner. Or the final technical corner out on track. Coming through 17, Rocco is going to hold this up as much as possible to let Wuta to try and get onto the back. Wuta, I think, is just going to get onto the back possibly, but Rocco is going to say go any second now. You watch, Wuta's now on the back, luckily, and Rocco says go. So he obviously waited for Wuta, and Wuta's going to have an absolute sensational run on the back of these guys. Of course, there's no green flags until the start-finish line, and actually Wuta's already gone for the move. Wuta is through for El Fury and actually got the move done. Green flag racing, and he was going for the move down the inside line, and Wuta's through on for El Fury and he's into 9th. Absolutely insane. Rocco leads the way. Brenton second. We're back underway in the sprint race. 3 laps to go, and DRS will be enabled. Final lap of the race.
Yep, and we got the Division 2 and Division 1 champ Linus Stern on the same tyres as they try to get themselves ahead of these medium racers.
Oh, JDW, my God, how did he not pick up damage? That was so late on the brakes, and Toxic runs into the back of Zerdimer, and he's gone around the outside. He's clean sailed him around the outside, and that is why Division 1 champion is better than Division 2 champion. Sorry, RJW. Toxic has just mullered on the brakes. RJW around the outside, regardless of that contact with Zerdimer. Now he lunges down the inside of Zerdimer, in towards 7, and he's surely got a warning for that. And yeah, Verstappen's going to go side by side with RJW, backs off. And RGW now dropping down the field, but Toxic, round the outside, Division 1 champion, has just done the Division 2 champion dirty. Simple as that.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, Toxic, he doesn't want to be wasting any time here. He's getting these moves done. He's being aggressive with his overtaking, but he's getting them done as soon as possible. As RJW into the back is staying on there for P4, and that's going to allow Verstappen to have a good ride on the pair of them as they run down towards turn 1. Toxic at the head over the back of Brent, and he's going to easily sail past him.
This is job done. RGW's going side by side with Zerdimer as well. Look at Verstappen. The slipstream is right there. Brent's still side by side actually with Toxic. And it's now 3-1, and Verstappen's going to try and cut the needle down the middle, round the outside through turn 1. Can he get the car stopped? He can. Can he get the move done? I think he can as well. Verstappen through the middle, parting of the Red Sea like Moses. Verstappen is through and he's into P4. That is an absolute wicked move by Verstappen. Yeah, there was contact with RGW, but my God, late on the brakes, Verstappen is through and he's into P4. These set of super softs are lasting to the end of the race, I have no shadow of a doubt, and Verstappen maybe with one of the best moves I think we've seen all season.
Yeah, and you won't be surprised to see that the battle for 7th is once again Nathan Larkin.
Well, Nathan's got a 5-second penalty. We've got to remember that. So I think that's gonna build some of the pressure off these guys. I think in battling this time around. Larkin though on the back of Nathan, as you say. Wooten nearly went into the back of him there. Rocco and Toxic, these two really good friends, but now rivals out on track. Rocco relentless, Toxic IRO, and Toxic now right on the back of Rocco. Going to try and look to the back of him, coming now through 14, then through 15, and then up towards the bottom, down in towards 15 as Verstappen closes in on Brent as well, and Verstappen really getting a charge on, but he's got to try and get this move done on Brent sooner rather than later. He will not have DRS on the final lap of the race, either on Toxic or Rocco. These two the front two pulling away. Rocco's done a really good job with his tyres, but I think it's inferior because Toxic now is within 2.5 tenths. Verstappen right on the back of Brent. RGW is going to try and do Verstappen's sort of idea, I think. As now Larkin and Nathan are side by side as well. I don't know where to turn. Toxic going side by side with Rocco, and Toxic I think has got the legs. Rocco tries to move across, but it's not good enough, and Toxic is now through. And it's 3-1 in the background. RGW trying to thread the other needle down the middle, trying to do the Verstappen idea, trying to go down the inside line. He does get one. He gets Brent, and he's up into P4. Brent's still on the outside line though. Nathan is overtaken by Zerdam, and Larkin's trying to go around the outside of him. It's absolutely kicking off big time here in the sprint race. Larkin nearly put into the wall. Woods is now going to run on Larkin. Nathan's now going to run on Zerdam. Rocco's going to run on Toxic. Nathan now back on Zerdam. Going to try and go down the inside line. Gets the car stopped, just about. And does he have P6? I think he does. Zerdam's on the outside line. Nathan cuts him short to the wall, and Larkin's into the back of him. Cuts a team effect in behind. Final lap of the race. Toxic leading the way, pulling away. Rocco second, Verstappen in third. I think that's your top three, to be honest. And Zerdam on the back of Nathan, getting held up big time, and it's side by side between Wouter and Larkin nearly.
Yeah, and Rocco, he's holding.
Oh, Front Fury! Front Fury's on the wall, and the relentless guys go from bad to worse. Larkin cutting short Pharrell Fury. That was an ambitious move. I've ever seen one from Pharrell Fury. He had damage anyways. And Pharrell Fury just lunged it down the inside. The wall was always going to be there on the inside. He did nothing to try and combat that. And Wouter's now in 9th with damage. Pharrell Fury down in 10th with damage. Toxic leading the way. Rocco in 2nd. And RGW's in 3rd because Verstappen has led him through to get DRS.
That's
and
very
Toxic.
strange from Verstappen. Toxic, he's got 8 tenths gap. Is that enough? I think it might be.
Yeah, it is. Easily. Easily. No shadow of a doubt about it. I'm more concerned about Verstappen and RJW though. RJDW is going to be outgunned by Verstappen to the line. It could be a photo finish between these two. I think Verstappen is just going to get there. Verstappen on the inside line. Toxic wins. Rocco second. Verstappen clean sailed past RJW. And he's into third. Nathan and Larkin. Larkin gets him. Larkin gets him. He had a 5-second penalty. But how much was the interval by the end of that? Because that looked like a photo finish coming across the line. Wow, what a race.
That was 100% a photo finish right there between them.
And RGW in the Discord, driver of the day goes to Toxic. RGW in the Discord, I actually hate you towards Verstappen. But let's have a look at the podium finishers. And once again, Toxic, 2 wins out of 2 here in Baku. I did say it was his track. You should listen to me more often, shouldn't you? Toxic out on top, taking 2 wins tonight. RGW robbed of his first podium from Verstappen's tactical move down and towards turn 17 out on track, but a really good racing nonetheless. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at all the incidents regarding the likes of Nolan and the likes of Josh as well. But a great win from Toxic. 2 wins on the board. He takes the win. 6 tenths of a second in the end. Rocco in 2nd. Verstappen in 3rd. And again, not fastest lap of the race as Toxic said it. RGW in 4th. Brent in 5th. Zerdam in 6th. Larkin 7th. Wouter in 8th. I've got the 5-second penalty up on my screen. But the gap was 0.02 of a second between Larkin and Nathan.
Yep, I was just looking at that as well. 0.02 of a second. And I just want to throw it there. I'm pretty sure that the top 3 for the sprint race was the top 3 that I predicted at the start, so I'm claiming that as a victory.
No, you said it for the feature race. I didn't ask you for the sprint race, so.
Hey, look, it still counts.
Does it count, people in the comment section? Does that count for Mike? Answers on a postcard, yes, please. He has asked nicely, so we might have to give him it.
Press the red button now. Vote. It does count.
Yeah, press the red button now. Never heard that. We'll go on to teletext, I think, if these guys are watching nothing apart from their screens. But do not press the red button. There's probably something on there from the BBC. Anyways, we are done then tonight with TTML Division 1. I've said it again. League of Europe Formula 2. Oh my god. TTML Division 1's tomorrow night if you want to tune in for that. League of Europe, of course. Division 1 over and done with Formula 2. Great racing in both races. Larkin and Nathan with that insane battle. Verstappen with that Jesus-like move down in towards turn 1, threading the yard of the needle. Moses-like move, I should say, not Jesus-like move. Verstappen with that brilliant move. Really good racing throughout. And Mike, I'm going to have to come to you. Who's your driver of the day?
I don't want to be boring and give it to Toxic, so I'm going to give it to Verstappen.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Verstappen does need like a driver of the day vote. I'm going to give it to Toxico. I think just pure dominance out on track, really good skillful drive in the second race as well. Toxic will get my driver of the day. Ryan's saying so many viewers in here. Yeah, so many viewers in here, yet we get treated to that. Shout out the stream next time before we get 7 viewers like we have done tonight. I think we peaked at 8, so it's not too bad. And Jordan as well, quality race, brilliant comms as always, James and Mike. Time for Line of Duty. Sweet Jesus, Holy Mary and Joseph. We are about done here with League of Europe Formula 2. Of course, we've got more action coming up for you this week for League of Europe. We have got the racing, of course, on a Friday night at his LOE PC, and on Saturday Division 1, 3 and 4 at 6:40, Division 2 and 5 at 8:10. Make sure you tune in for all of them. If you can't, you can watch them back later. It is simple as that. But that is it. Brilliant racing out on track, and please take care of yourselves in this crazy world that we all still live in. For myself and Mike, thank you so much for tuning in to League of Europe Division 1 Formula 2. And until next time, where we are in France, goodbye.
Bye.